Okay, so now let's quickly go through the things then. Let's see what primary data is. So primary data, we've talked about the things, the two questions you ask for yourself. So we know that primary data is data where you have control on how you have to have control on how the data is collected, and also the data must be collected for the research in which you're doing, for your particular research. Then it's going to be primary, okay? So it should be, you should have control on how it's collected, and the data must be collected for that particular research. If the data was collected for something else like government things, government surveys and stuff, then it cannot be primary. It can't be primary data, okay? Good. Now we keep going. Now an example so here, let's see what the definition says. Primary data is data that is collected directly. So there are two things. One, it is collected directly by the researcher, okay? Or it is influenced by the researcher. The collection is influenced by the researcher for the specific purpose, for a specific purpose or study. So this one, to say collected directly by the researcher, yes, you find it in your slides, you can use it. But we know that the more accurate statement is the researcher has control, okay, of the method, has direct control of the research methods, okay, and it is collected for that particular research. Now, examples: when you conduct a survey, or when you design instructions for a survey and give a research team, and the research team researches for you using your survey, your own instructions, then it's primary. So conducting experiments in a controlled environment. Okay, so we say that anytime that you do your own is going to be primary, right? So primary, anytime that you are going to design questions and go and get data for yourself, is primary. But even when a research team gets data for you, as long as you are in control, it can also be primary. So here, surveys conducted by the researcher, of course, these are primary because it's you who's conducting it and it's for yourself, right? Experiments that you do in a controlled environment, observations of real world behaviors, and you are the one recording, You are the one recording, and it's for your own study. Or some team is recording for you, but for using your instructions, and it's for your own study, then it will be primary. Now, what are some advantages of primary data? Number one is it will be directly fitting your studies. You see, it's tailored to the research. It's tailored to the research or study. It directly fits that research. Okay, it is a direct fit for the research, or it's tailored to your research. That is a big advantage because you're the one who's designing. There's going to be the data that you're going to collect is going to be perfect for your research. It is more reliable. Okay, it is more reliable for the intended purpose. Why? Because you are controlling how the data was collected. So it is more reliable. Okay, and it is tailored to that specific research. Now, what are the disadvantages of primary data collection? Time consuming. It takes time for you to collect data yourself or using the research team. And it is expensive. Okay, and it requires careful planning, or else you collect the wrong stuff. So it needs careful planning. It is time consuming and it's expensive. These are disadvantages. Now we can go to secondary data, and this is data that has been collected and published by someone else. So that means it was not even for you. The data was not for you. It was for another purpose. The purpose was not your research, to some other. So it is data that has been collected and published by someone else for a different purpose, and then reused for the current study with a different purpose or with a different research question. So it is now being used for a different research. Okay, it was collected for something else. A school publishes their results. Then you go and take those results to make a report maybe on how schools are performing and whatever. That when the school published those results, it was just publishing for some other reason. You going to get those results and using them is for some other reason, okay? You now have a point you want to prove or whatever. That makes the data that you have collected from the results that you have collected from the school that has published it, that is secondary data. So examples: government census data, journals, where journals are written by experts and researchers. They write things down and they publish them. If you take those and you use that data, that is secondary data. Here, research articles, like we've been saying, industry reports, all this is going to be secondary, because if you go and take that and use it, it's not you who collected it, my friend. So it becomes secondary when you use it, if you use data that has come from these sources. Now, what are the advantages? Why would we ever do that? Why would you ever go and get data that the government has collected and not you, and try to use it for your research? It's cheaper and less time consuming, saves time, okay, because data is already collected. Now, the disadvantage is although it's cheaper, it might not fit your exact research, okay? And also, the quality or accuracy of data may not be guaranteed, and there is a risk of bias where this secondary data is leaning towards one idea because it was not collected for a specific research. So there's a chance of bias, and the quality is not trustworthy, and it might not fit your studies. That is it. And this is for primary and secondary data, primary and secondary data. And that is it. Let's see the next things. Goodbye for now.